Well, hi everybody. Welcome. Glad you're all with us here today. We're going to have uh, I think we have winter. By the way, new glasses. Huh? What do you think? Hmm? Kind of match the black, don't they? Welcome. Anyway, I can see you. For me, eyesight has been my Achilles heel this entire lifetime. I've worn glasses since I was 3.5 years old, so it's been a struggle to do it. But I got to tell you, it's really good to see you. Sort of. I can sort of see you anyway. Anyway, welcome today. Glad you're all here. We're gonna get started here in just a minute, but I just want to tell everybody, welcome to summer, or welcome to winter rather. We have been waiting for a long time for winter. We've been keep telling us that winter's coming. They keep saying, I feel like we're in Game of Thrones. Winter's coming. The winter's coming. And they keep telling us that, and it never shows up. It showed up the other day. It showed up 2 days ago. So we have had weather from late August all the way to now, which is what we call open door weather. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 60, 75 to 80 degrees, 70 to 80 degrees, I'll say. And it's just been awesome. So, yes, here in Las Vegas, we have a tremendous amount of heat. And yes, it does get cold. We actually have frost once in a while, and it even snows once in a while. There's not a sadder sight than to see a palm tree with snow all over it. But that happens once in a while. But anyway, we have officially stepped into winter. So welcome everybody. I got a fire going. We're all set. So anyway, we'll bring you through this, and the group wants to bring us together here today. If you missed last week's, it's up there. Last week the group wanted to come together. There was so much confusion, so much strange energy, and even misinformation being brought out about the Omicron virus, the variant of the virus, and they wanted to put some things down. We're going to go a little bit further into that today because we're actually going to work on the virus today. We're going to hold hands and send our energy to this collective to work with this, to both ways, not only to harmonize the virus, but to harmonize our bodies so that it won't affect us in the same ways. Now, Omicron is, we're still finding out about it. What the group said last week, just to bring everybody up to date that wasn't here, they basically said that the Omicron is going to be much more contagious, which brings about a whole bunch of problems. They also said it's probably going to be a little less, and they said probably because we still have a lot to go with this, but it's probably going to be a little less harmful as far as deaths and recoverability and so forth. Now, I know that a lot of people just don't believe in the vaccines, and we've got two sides to all of this stuff. Well, there's some good news for everybody, and it just came out the other day. And of course, it was yesterday that Pfizer was approved for this pill. Now, the pill is not a vaccine type of thing. It's not a preventative. But if you can take this pill, I think it's within 5 or 6 days of actually coming down with the virus, you can reduce your chances of even hospitalization almost 90%. So we're going to have breakthroughs, one right after another, which are going to help us deal with this virus until we can eradicate it. But that's the other thing that the group said very clearly. We have opportunities to eradicate it from our environment altogether. We've got the CDC, different people throughout the World Health Organization, and so forth, are all talking about different things. They're talking about, okay, what if it doesn't go away? What if it turns into the flu? We never got rid of the flu. We never eradicated the flu. We deal with it every year, basically start over again. So is COVID-19 going to be like that? Is it going to be something we do? And the group says, yes, right now, that is going to be. We're still seeing massive waves that are coming in and basically getting our attention if we're not paying attention. And at the same time, we've got a lot of possibilities. I even heard, and I was not, I'll simply put this out somewhat as I don't like to say things that I haven't validated myself. And I have not completely validated this. I've seen some things that you can't trust everything you read on the internet, obviously. There's a lot of people putting stuff on the internet just to get your attention, just because it makes money. It's real simple. So anyway, with that, I've done some research to try and find this, and I've not been able to fully find it. But there are some very positive rumors that there's even a vaccine coming out using the old technology, not the mRNA technology. And I know a lot of the people that are anti-vaxxers or against the mRNA technology, thinking it's going to do damage and so forth. And I'm not even going to get on one side or the other with that. There's a very interesting thing that I came to be aware of, that the group made me aware of, because I'm looking at this going, well, this makes sense to me, and this doesn't make sense to me. Why are so many people doing this and not this? And the group said something very clear to me. They said, if you were watching exactly what they're watching and living their lives and talking to the people they're talking to, you would probably feel the same way. Now that blew me away. That blew me away. So anyway, what we're going to talk about here is simply working on the virus. No matter what side of anything you're on, and we're going to try and get rid of the sides altogether, but no matter where you have been in the past on this virus thing and on vaccines and on all the rest of it, it doesn't make any difference. This is a visitor on our planet that we need to tame. Real simple, no matter what side you're on. So let's work on that today. Okay, that's what's going to happen. So anyway, we will be working with the Omicron virus. The other thing that we're going to be working on is the situation, the tensions that are happening right now between Russia and the Ukraine. There's a tremendous amount of things that are going on. We saw this before. We saw it before when they took over Crimea. And pretty simple to see, at least, again, I only see one part of this. I don't see all pieces of it. But basically what's happening is Russia gets a little aggressive. They want to put back together the Soviet Union. It's real simple. That's what Putin's aim has been. Putin, I believe, blamed the United States for the breakup of the Soviet Union in the first place, and is probably going to do everything he can to recapture those countries and retake them. He does it by sending people there to live, so that all these people are there to live, and that and he pays a lot of them, but basically he sends people out to live in different places, and then he goes in to save them. And those are the people that you'll see welcoming the Soviet troops when they come into Crimea or wherever it is that they're trying to take over. And it's a fascinating situation because a lot of that is meant just for those cameras. So again, I only see one side of this. Now, I tend to see the Kiev side of it, and I call it Kiev because that's what they call it. They don't call it Kiev. That I don't know how we got into that, but I've been to Kiev. Barb and I have been there several times. Wonderful, incredible people looking to rebuild their society after the Soviet Union and everything else. Try to bring back their languages, bring back all the things that they wanted to bring back. So this is very distressing to see of anything. It does look like a forcible takeover, but again, no matter what side you're on, we have a problem, and we can deal with the problem. So even if you're Russian and saying, no, that's not what's happening here, these people are doing something wrong and we need to go in, okay, that's fine. We're not going to take sides or try to decide who's right, who's wrong, or what side we're going to play on. We're going to start moving past it. Just deal with the problems. We all agree there's a problem here. We're about to go to war, and we can have a lot to it. How does that affect? Does that mean that everybody has to take this and then go out in the street and hold a sign or protest or something? Well, if you do that, that's fine. That's entirely up to you, but that's not what's necessary. What's necessary is that all of us hold this little perfect vision of where we're going, of the end game. Where is this going to end up? How can this dissipate to where we don't have to worry about aggression or anything else in this area? How can we all focus on that? And all we need to do is to carry that energy in our hearts and to hold that. So that's what we're going to work on here today. The group's going to be dropping in here in just a second. I'll turn it over to them. We've got Alison here with a great year-end report. And of course, Meg is here with her year-end stuff too. And we're glad to have Meg back. She was gone for a couple of weeks in some special trainings that she's doing. And I got to tell you, and I will also say, Steve still does not do sessions. If you're looking for some sessions, these two ladies do incredible sessions. Alison is a psychological astrologer, blending a lot of different things to be able to kind of tell you where things are going for you and what the assets for them. Meg, she's going to nail you right away. I'll tell you right off the bat. If you want to do work, go to Meg. She'll get you right into it. And if you want to have the overview and the large piece of this to kind of see where you're going, I think Alison's great for that too. So again, both of them are tremendous. They both do sessions. I want to encourage you to look that up. I don't think we actually have that on our site, but that's going to change. We're going to put the credits up and be able to do that as well. Also, one other quick little piece I want to mention. We have a lot of changes going on our website on a regular basis, on a daily basis. Things change on our website all the time. One of the things that we had to do, we had to go and do some upgrades and some updates, and it changed a lot of things the way that the site actually worked. In that change, we seem to have lost something important, and I want to bring it up because I think it's very important. Isha Lerner, very powerful lady and co-presenter. We've presented with her several times, just a very dear friend. She, from the very beginning of Lightworker, which was 25 years ago, she honored us by giving us the opportunity to put her cards on our site and have the pick a card from Isha Lerner. These are the inner child cards which are on our site. When we went through some of these changes and some of these updates, we lost her credits. It didn't say anything about Isha Lerner, didn't say the power of flower essences, it didn't say anything about where to go or anything else. So I called Isha the other day and told her about it, and we found it. One of her people brought it to our attention, and we're very thankful for that. So I just want to tell you, Isha, you're a very special lady. Thank you so much for this gift to all of us to be able to use your stuff. And if you want to find out more about it, she not only has those cards on her website, but she has a whole bunch of other decks on her website as well. So again, I'm sorry I didn't write down the actual name of the website, so I'm a little unprepared here. But if you go to her cards on our site, the inner child cards, you'll see now at the bottom there of each page a link to her website and her name and so forth. And we're trying to put a logo in there, but I don't know if we've got that one in yet. But anyway, thank you so much for that, and thank you all for understanding. We had a little blip in the system there. It wasn't intentional, but we just want to tell you we do appreciate you all, and especially you, Isha. You've done an incredible job for a number of years, so thank you. Okay, we'll get started here. I'm going to drop into channel in just a minute. We'll do the first channel. This is where we're going to bring things together. Now, what we're going to be doing here is the three things that we talked about. We're going to be working with the Russian situation, Russian and Ukraine situation. So we're going to be working with that one just to ease the tensions, to visualize this coming to a peaceful end right away, to visualize this kind of breaking up and everybody going on their own paths. All right, and that's the idea of what we're going to do here. Not a right or wrong thing. Nobody has to apologize. We're just going to go back to our systems. And that's what we're going to work with here off the bat. And then right after that, the group's going to talk about Omicron and a little bit about that. And again, they're going to give us a visualization to see what that looks like after we look back at this from even a year down the road. Now, I will also tell you that in the Beacons of Light, which is going out either today or tomorrow, pretty quick, the Beacons of Light is talking all about that and talking about the virus itself. It does mention the Omicron virus. It does mention that variant of it, but only briefly. But what it does mention is that the fact that we have an opportunity to eradicate this virus in the spring of next year. And that's only a few months away. It's going to take a little work. It's going to take efforts for all of us. The group says the biggest thing we can do is to hold hands. That's really difficult when we're all separated in our belief systems. Some people think the virus is a hoax. Some people don't even think it's real. So whatever the case, we're still in your face every day. It's on your news every day. Let's hold hands and get rid of it. What do you think? Okay? That's the idea. We're going to remove this whole problem from our environment, not by turning our back on it or ignoring it, but by watching it dissolve. And we have some powerful hearts here. Then we're going to go into a final healing circle. And I will invite you all to bring not only anything that you want to work with, but anything that you want to bring into the healing circle. Now, the group's very big on one aspect of healing, and that's that all healing must be requested. I know there's a lot of people that don't agree with that, and we try. The group's not big on belief systems, so it's perfectly fine if you follow the group and you don't buy certain things that they talk about. That's perfectly fine. Those are belief systems, and we want you to choose basically what is right for you in all these aspects. But I will tell you that We have healing abilities here that we can do. Now, what happens if you bring someone into this healing circle and they didn't request the energy? It's very simple. It simply won't have the same effect. In reality, they're doing the healing, not us. We can create the space for them to heal if they're ready to receive it. And that's why we ask that all healing be requested. Now, if you have a daughter, a son, a brother-in-law, whoever it is, that is really having some difficulties, you might ask him, is it all right if I bring you into my healing circle? Is that okay with you if I just I'm not going to mention your name. We're not going to talk about anything. I just want to bring your energy into this healing circle where we all hold hands globally and try to work with that. And that'll resolve that situation. All right. So welcome aboard, everybody. I'm so glad you're here today. Thank you for being with us. We have a lot to do here, so we're going to get started right away, but here we go. Aspav, everybody. Well, that was a quick turnaround, wasn't it? So I'll bring the group in here in just a second, but I do need to clear my voice a little bit, so I'm going to put this up for just a second. Greetings, dear ones. Welcome. We take you on a journey of life, a journey of light, to show you some of the own energies in your own reflections. For this day, it's a very magical time. Yes, you're going through new energies, new sections, seasons, if you will, times to celebrate. And more importantly, you're coming to a crest of a wave. It is an energetic wave where changes can easily be made. And that's really where much of the challenge comes from. But we tell you there are 3 grand secrets that we'll be revealing in a couple of days, talking about some of the larger aspects of what you are going to need in the next stage of life. Some of the more important aspects, some of which you already have or already know about, can really engage in a new way. So welcome all of you, dear ones. As we've mentioned before, your space has been reserved on this planet. That seat that you're sitting in has had your name on it for eons of time. These are critical moments of time-space. You brought in by contract and brought everything you need with you. So welcome home, everyone. Welcome to the new world. Welcome to the new light. So take a breath, everyone, and let's go a little further deep within. In a few moments, we're going to ask you all to reach out your energetic hands. If there are people in the room with you, you're certainly welcome to take their hands, and if not, hold them out, and we will take them for you and connect you all around the globe. So take a deep breath and simply stretch that out. Allow that to happen right now. Well done. And now take 3 deep breaths in and out. And in and out. In through the nose and very slowly release it, exciting the vagus nerve, releasing all the tensions, releasing the inflammation in the body, and let it go. Well done. Well done. So this day, let's take a look at many of the tensions that you have on your planet, for there are many. There are opportunities to change in many different ways. What we're going to ask you to do is to see that happening. Watch the celebrations after everyone leaves and goes their own way. Watch the celebrations as things start to come back to normal, where the tensions of people living in those areas can start breathing normally again, can start working in a different way. Those are powerful times. You hold that key deep within you. Take a deep breath. And as you release it slowly, stretch those hands out to take those around you. Feel your connection getting stronger as the energy even going through you starts to get stronger and stronger as that energy flows through your arms. Bring it in. And now swallow 3 times to ground the physical body. That connects the physical body and the spirit. That is the grounding of the physical. One of the ways. So take a breath and release it. Let it go to the universe. You've already put your spin on it. Well done. Now, there are many challenges on Earth, but none quite as worrying to most as the virus which you're still dealing with. As we mentioned the other day, the virus that is still here, the variant, the Delta virus, is still the most challenging and very much still on the rise. So you'll be working with that to bring that back down in, and however you work with it. Now, there are many opportunities and different things that can work with this. And we tell you there are opportunities to look for this, and yet we also tell you that common sense pervades most of it. But whatever you put your energy into will work. You are creator beings. We're going to bring this up a lot more in the near future, and in fact, a whole new series is starting around that process to kind of ground that in your light, starting in 2 days actually, to show you how this is working from our perspective and how you can increase that ability right now. These are going to be starting as is. But not just then, because this is a whole direction of the work that we'll be moving through to help you ground it in many different ways. So welcome home. I'm so happy that you're with us. The virus itself, we can call that an entity. The entity is very confused. The entity is very much in survival. The entity was not put here to create harm. But we tell you it can be harmonized. You've never learned to communicate with this virus in that way. You've learned to try and eradicate it, to try and chase it off, to try and poison it in different ways. But we also tell you that you can tame it a bit. Now, there's certain things that will happen when this works. The general thing that would normally work is that the virus will still mutate. It'll still go forward in its own evolutionary cycles. And yet it will tend to get more contagious and less harmful. Now, although your sciences are not at that stage here of calling it that, we'll tell you that is the general direction that this is going to go until you can eradicate it. What does the eradication feel like? What does that mean? Does that mean everybody has to get vaccinated? Does that mean, well, of course, that's not going to happen. You can see that taking place now. But what we can tell you is, if you all just come together in your hearts, the challenge comes from all the arguments of it. It's not that one side has a right answer and the other side has a wrong answer. It's that you can't agree on anything. And that is the challenge that pervades this and keeps stirring it to come back. Now, also, cooperation. It's huge. We'll tell you that South Africa did exactly the right thing as a country when this variant was discovered. They told everyone about it. And everyone shut down their trips to South Africa. Everyone cut them off. What you have just trained every other country to do is to be quiet about the virus. And that is critical. The communication, especially between countries, not just the World Health Organization or the CDC or any of the many of those that are the agencies that are around to do that. But your hearts can hold this. And if you look across the table and you see someone who believes different than you, and you somehow think they are wrong, that opens up a big space for this virus to stay. But if you simply look at them and say, hey, I understand where you're at. I see where you are. And I don't judge it. but I'm in a different space. That works. Because then you're both working on the same issue. And we're telling you there's opportunities to eradicate this virus completely. Now, the first one is coming in spring. And we will work with that one entirely. Because late February, all the way through April, will be an incredible time to try and bring this down. That is also the time, obviously, when you go back out into the outside world. For most people, not all, the lower parts of the world are going into the winter at that point. But we also say that this is an opportunity to do this, to bring it under containment. Then you'll find out a lot more about it, which will help you find the little pieces. And in the meantime, you are getting a lot of help. You're getting energy from the other side of the veil, not only through the master healers that have gathered en masse to bring this energy through, to help people actually to the other side, not only to help people go home, but to help all of humanity raise to the next level. That is powerful. And that's the piece we want you all to envision. Everything going to the next level. Will you look back at this virus and see how devastating it was? Yes, it changed your world. The moment it came in, it changed your world. And many people still think they're going back to the old. No, you are not going back. People are finding this, especially employers are finding this. People did not want to come back to work. They did not want to go back into their old systems. Isn't that interesting? The world has changed. And this virus did it. Now, it's also taken way too many people. The energies on the other side of the veil for the master healers has reached its critical mass. There are enough there to now help all of humanity move up to this next level of life, which we are calling the Esayoto, to live in a space free of much of the lower vibrations that you've had to endure. Working in something where your heart is in full engagement. And if you have to go through something that difficult in order to get there, you will do it. You are doing it. So again, take the energies off, take the belief systems off, take the right and wrong off, take the polarity out of the whole situation for just a short time, and envision yourself looking back at the times when this virus changed the planet and even you. Take a deep breath. And again, stretch out the hands. Feel the energy moving through your heart as it comes through one hand and out the other. And now speed it up. Make it go even faster. It's now traveling through your heart with little pulses you feel going through. But it's traveling at 300,000 meters per second, 186,000 miles per second, the speed of light, 7 times around the earth in 1 second through your heart. Can you feel it? Good. Hold it. Take an energy imprint right now and hold that piece right here. Excellent. Well done, dear ones. Well done. And now what we're going to do is to bring together a final piece. You're entering a new time. A new year is beginning. It's a grand time where people make resolutions. They make new directions. They decide, we're not going to make these mistakes anymore. We're going to go over here. What a fascinating time. That energy throughout all the planet is gathering. That gives many opportunities for people to move in many directions and for your own spirit to emerge even further into your being. But it can't just happen alone. That's the strange part about this. Yes, there have been many times where massive healers, grand masters have incarnated on the earth and walked around and shown people what is possible. People end up praying to them. People end up honoring them, which is generally not their intent. Their intent was to show you what you yourself can do. A lot of that is taking place now. So we're going to ask you to bring whatever you have to this healing circle right now. And again, Put it in the big pot and bring all the energy of the entire planet through your whole system. This time we'll ask you to bring it in through your right hand and send it out through your left hand. I did that backwards intentionally. Well, you get the idea. We're going to bring it in through the right and send it out through the left and bring it through the entire circle of the planet. And if you have someone, especially that you've given permission to do, while you're in that healing circle, just bring them to your thoughts. Bring them to mind. You don't need to worry about how they're going to heal or what they're going to do. Just bring them into this healing circle and let this energy do the rest. And if you have something you're ready to release, just be sure you're ready to release it, because that will work. So take a breath. Just release your energy for a moment. All the thoughts of the day can be spread out into the world. You can pick them up later if you so choose. But take a breath. And once again, hold that out. This time, your right hand. Bring it in through there. Let it circle through your heart and out your left hand and around the globe. Take a deep breath and let it all through you right now. As you release the breath slowly, feel your energy change. Excellent. Good. And now the healing circle has formed globally. Oh yes, it's got some turns and twists in it. Such is the nature of humanity. What we're doing now, everything inside that healing circle that has stepped forward, whether it's a part of you or someone else, we're all focused on that right now. As the energy speeds up through your body, goes through even further, watch those difficulties start to dissipate, start to pixelize and fly off into space, almost as if this rock is turning into dust in the wind. Perfect. Take a breath, dear ones. You are the magicians of the game board. Many things are taking place right now for you to take your next level. All it takes is a willingness to take that next step. Step forward and be the person you've always been. Dear ones, you are magicians, each and every one of you. We walk alongside you, not above you. We walk in your pace. We walk with you to help clear the path, because you carry the hopes of so many on our side of the veil. Take a deep breath and own it all. Know that you are in the perfect place at the right time. And with that, take a deep breath and blow it out forcefully as you bring it into the universe. The magicians have begun. Welcome home, everyone. It's a grand time to be here. You are the greatest angels that have ever lived. We're so proud of you. Well done, dear ones. Well done. And with that, we leave you for a time. We'll be back in a few moments. But there's some other masters that wish to bring you some energy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having the courage to incarnate, to be in that physical body the way that you are right now, vulnerable, but not really. We've got you, dear ones. We'll hold you tight. Well done. And with that, we ask you to simply treat each other with respect, nurture one another, and play well together. And yes, that is a 3. A spavo, dear ones.
Well, hello and welcome to the astrology part of the show, and it's lovely to be here this cold December in the United Kingdom. Anyway, everybody always gets very eager to hear the astrology as we get towards the end of the year, so I'm hoping that I will be able to get across the very positive aspects of the things coming up. Rather than just dwelling in the the little challenging bits. Okay, so we've got a couple of things in the sky which have been here all year actually, and so you're probably fed up with me talking about them, and you probably wish that I would invent something new to say, but unfortunately, as the year started, the year will end, and also as the year started, so will next year start as well. I can't see past that, because for the entire length of this this virus pandemic, we have had a couple of planets in opposition to each other. So a dwarf planet out in the Kuiper belt called Makemake, and Chiron, which is a bit of an oddball in the solar system. And they have a very long-running opposition, which goes on until next year, next January. Well, just not next January, January. Goes on into the next month, shall I say. And it speaks of viruses and pandemics, because Makemake represents those. But it also speaks of the bitterness and the rage, depression, which unfortunately is really sort of like free floating around our collective now because of the isolation that people have gone through, and then feelings of hopelessness, feelings of meaninglessness, everything to do with the misery of the virus. So Chiron has represented those, and Makemake has represented the actual virus, and they are still very much engaged in the sky this December, and will be in January as well. And so that says to me that as a collective we will still be focused on the rules of our reaction to the virus. And so we get isolation, and so we get restriction, and these aren't great things for any of us, and it's getting wearing now, it is. We also have in the sky now Saturn square Uranus, and this is the last big push for that one in this year. But unfortunately, all that talks about really is the tension of something that wants to break out and be free, and something that is holding on to it and preventing this bursting out into freedom. And yes, that pretty much says it all, doesn't it? So because these two are very active in the sky, I can only say to you that it will be more of the same. Can we take anything from it? Yes, we are learning patience. We are learning humility in the face of something much bigger. And I suppose these are good for us lessons, but as it goes on and on, it becomes more difficult to accept them, I have to say. Okay, will things change in the new year, I guess is what you would like to hear. Only slowly. There is no quick fix coming. There is no big fall off the edge of the cliff. That's it. We've done with the virus. We've fallen into new territory. This we're shedding of all those woes. It doesn't appear to happen. It's more just a very slowly, very slowly, very slowly it recedes. Will I be talking about it in January 23? Possibly not. So So there's something to look forward to. Okay, so full moons and new moons are always interesting. They mean that we can't sleep. And some people are very sensitive to them, and so they get heightened anxiety or uncomfortable feelings. So I like to give you those dates. So we've got a full moon during the weekend of the 18th and 19th of December. Okay, and that is all about the full moon in Gemini, actually, and the sun being in Sagittarius. And generally, this is not a really uncomfortable full moon. This axis is all about learning, recognizing things, seeing them for the first time, news, any kind of education, that kind of stuff. So it tends to be sort of, it falls lightly on the ground, if you see what I mean. And then we have the new moon on the 2nd of January, and that's in Capricorn. And I want to talk to you a little bit about this because I don't believe I've mentioned this to you before. People often ask me, what is the best time for me to make my New Year's resolutions? And most especially to give something up. And it will always be the first new moon into the new year. Yeah, mostly into the new year. I mean, there's the odd year it doesn't happen, but anyway, let's say into the new year, which coincides with New Year's resolutions, and particularly wanting to give up, say, food, chocolate, wanting to give up smoking, giving up alcohol, all this sort of stuff. Well, the best time to do it is always on the new moon in Capricorn, because it is so filled with resolve and so filled with stubbornness and determination, a real kind of strength, and so that's the day to go for it. So don't say my New Year's resolution and I'm going to start on the 1st of January is such and such. Say I'm going to start on the 2nd of January and have that new moon behind me. And that makes a lot of sense. I personally have noticed that when people do this according to the astrology and this new moon in Capricorn, I've seen results. I've seen people genuinely lose the weight or genuinely stop smoking. So there we go. I mean, you know, speak as you find. Apart from that, we have a free-floating anxiety really in the collective that will take time to dissipate. Now, a lot of you are working with this spiritually, and you'll be saying, what free-floating anxiety? You know, I'm getting in touch with great sensitivity. I feel the change which is happening because of the rise of the feminine, and I'm excited by this. And great, that's good. That's why you are, you know, doing your spiritual way of life, because you want to be able to run with the cosmos. But there are people who are not really able to access the cosmos or the spiritual world in that way, and they will tend to be the ones who just feel morose. They are the ones more likely to contract the free-floating anxiety. So I guess what I'm saying is that I think we need to be aware that there are people out there who don't feel good, who feel extraordinarily got at by the situation, and really are struggling with any sense of hope. I keep feeling, if any of you, most of you I suppose, have read Harry Potter, do you remember the Dementors, those sort of wraith-like creatures, the dark ones that flew around the sky and sucked all the happiness out of you? Well, I keep thinking about the Dementors and sucking all the happiness, and I keep thinking, yep. But having said that, it is possible to find a sense of contentment and security within. It is possible to find, to accept the changes that we sense happening as the rise of the feminine continues to grow, and it's possible to be in the moment. And I think more than ever, it is about being in the moment now and just taking each moment as it comes. And that's a great way to be in touch with the soul and to live. As you know, the soul is not often heard because the masculine entities in the body, that's the spirit and the mind, are normally chattering away there, and they're very sort of loud. It's in these quieter moments that the soul can actually be heard or understood. And so it's good for that. We need our down times as much as we need our up times. The masculine times in the previous decade were great for growth, but now we need to have the opposite, the slowing down, and the maturing, and the internal developing, and the quiet repose. And so that's why we are in this position. So enjoy your quiet repose. Have a lovely, happy, merry holiday season. And I look forward to seeing you in January. Thanks very much for listening. Okay. Oh, and don't forget, if you want a reading for about next year, get in touch with me, Alison Chester-Lambert. Just Google my name and you can book a reading with me. That will be nice. Okay. See you later. Bye.
Thanks, Allison. Glad you were here today. Yes, depression, anxiety as a result of being locked up all this time is huge on this planet right now. So thank you for bringing that up, Allison, and focusing our energy on that. People don't generally talk about that. When people have this kind of situation, they hold it inside, and it's very difficult. But we have it everywhere. If everybody started to at least become a little aware of it, we can help other people deal with it, or ourselves. All of it works. And now, Meg Adamson, Gore, Aspavo.
Hi, everybody. So nice to be back here on the GlobalLight broadcast. The last one for the year. This is December. Can you believe it? I can. I've actually been cheering it on. This year has been a whopper for me, and I know I'm not alone. So here we go. Here we are. How do we want to cross over into the new year? What do we need to work on? What do we need to pay attention to? So thank you. I want to start my segment off this month by saying thank you so much for all who wrote to me on my last piece on inflammation. I want to continue that conversation. Wasn't that powerful to learn? That from prominent doctors writing best-selling books, science is now showing that being exposed to chronic stress is rewiring our brains to favor conditions that favor chronic stress. Remember that? So breaking that down into everyday terms, that means that the prefrontal cortex, the nice guy in the room, the person making the decisions, is being more and more disabled, and the amygdala, which is our fight or flight response, is growing and expanding. What does that translate into? That translates into look around. People are getting angrier, easier. People are getting sicker, faster, because our bodies can't handle that level of chronic stress all the time. So the brain's trying to adapt. We are brilliant beings of energy, aren't we? And we are adaptable, but if we are adapting to the chronic stress, why can't we go in the opposite direction and adapt to unity consciousness? We can, but it's personal work, isn't it? And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to carry on that conversation, especially going into the holidays. Excuse me, I have a hair in my eye. Especially going into the holidays, because at holiday time, we seem to be busier, right? We're trying to juggle more, whether that's shopping for the holidays or traveling for the holidays or preparing for the holidays, emotionally preparing for the holidays, along with physically preparing for the holidays. Sometimes seeing family is stressful. Sometimes not having family around to see is stressful. We've got more going on with the pandemic. We've got another variant. And so there are all these conversations that are marinating around the globe as we move towards the holiday time. But we've also got another conversation going on too, don't we? And that's the one that's internalized. That's the one that talks about, hey, slow down. What was this year for you as we approach the solstice and the holidays and the crossover into the new year? And what do you want to know that you learned from this year so that you don't bring it into next year to continue learning, right? I want you, if there's one takeaway that I want you to hear today, it's this: that all upsets are setups. So every time you get triggered by something someone says, by the way someone is driving, by the plans that you thought were going to go a specific way and they didn't, and there were factors involved or people involved with how that changed, I want you to stop and slow down and take a minute and really comprehend that how you're feeling in that moment is nothing more than your programming in your subconscious mind from the life that you have lived and many others before that, that is trying to communicate with you. So we have to own those upsets. We have been trained our entire lives to turn that around and point that finger, that powerful, I don't even want to point it at the screen, that powerful energy stream of judgment. And we point it at someone else or something else. And then we project all of this emotion towards it, even if we think we're being righteous in doing so. We're not. What are we really doing? What's really happening there? Tell me one example of good and expansion and unity consciousness that comes from that positioning. It doesn't, does it? It's not inclusive. It doesn't leave room for open conversation. It's a reaction. It's reactionary. And so when we are upset about something, immediately we have to own that. We have to stop and say, why is this bothering me so much? Am I trying to control it? Did I put a lot of time into something and someone's changing the plan so I feel unappreciated? We have to own what it is our programming is trying to tell us, because therein lies the healing. So literally, moving through the holiday season, if we can monitor ourselves and nobody else, just ourselves, and our intention can be to become this unshakable expression of peace, of grounded, comprehensible peace. In other words, we take that from divine intelligence, that from that field of the mind, that unity consciousness, and bring that into our human form. And that journey, that bridge, requires us to take responsibility for our programming. See, I've talked about this before, the way our body works and the triune mind. So our conscious mind is our thinking mind. That's where we analyze. That's where we're planning all of our holidays. That's where we've planned our trip, our timing, our luggage and clothing, who's coming over for dinner, what we're serving, what time everything needs to be organized, and so forth. Conscious mind is actively doing all of this. Then we've got our subconscious mind, and that's where all our emotions are. That's where all our memories are. It is very literal, and it generalizes. So when something triggers us, it is going to generalize what it has in its programming, and then you're going to project back out how you feel about the situation in front of you. So is it really whatever is going on in front of you, or is it your programming that's running the show, right? It's the programming. How do we begin to heal that programming? Well, the first step is you got to own it. We have to not contribute to more anger, more upset, more division on the planet. Now, how does this tie into inflammation? Every time you go into judgment, you're causing inflammation in your own body. Every time you feel that you've been wronged and you have a strong, upset, set up emotion about it, you're causing inflammation in your own body. And that is just the conflict because it's not in alignment with who you truly are. You are an extraordinary being who chose to be here right now, who chose to be present for everything that's taking place on the planet. And I would venture to guess that I'm pretty sure if you went through all of that trouble and all of that time to choose your parents and your birth location and the age that you would be right now and exactly who you are right now, I highly doubt you did all of that just so that you could sit feeling frustrated and powerless. I don't buy it. It doesn't fit. So you are here with deep influence. If you can hold that center, if you can connect that unity consciousness through your programming and amend your own programming, your own belief system, and that comes by owning it moment by moment by moment and figuring it out. It means when something happens, we say, why am I feeling this way? Before I go into judgment, before I start with the whole projection and all, it feels great to de-stress sometimes and just complain about everything and get it out. But what did we just, if that was live energy, what did we just put into the collective? What did you just permeate your entire neighborhood with? Now that's not to make anyone feel guilty or go on any kind of, negative stream. It's just to think for a minute. If we believe everything has consciousness, and we do, right? We're the lovers. We love animals, and we love nature, and we love our planet, and we don't love what's happening. But if we just stay in that place, cross ways of it, we're contributing to that which pains us. And that is what creates the actual emotion, feeling like suffering. Did you get that? Did that land? You are not here to suffer. You did not come all this way and make all these plans to not contribute to the unity consciousness that makes you feel so good. So the first step is understand that how you're feeling is your own. And that what you feel about a situation, someone else might not feel at all, or might not have even noticed, or might not have intended. We have to back it all up and own it in the moment. And know that it's our own programming. And then when we do that, it's not about feeling like we're not perfect, because no one is. It's empowering and liberating to be able to say, okay, that comes from way back when I was 5 and this happened. Ooh, well, now I can do something about that. Did I have resources when I was 5 to really understand the world and critically analyze? No, because that mechanism that analyzes between what we see and how we perceive the world and how we store our programming doesn't come online. It doesn't actually develop and nurture until we're between 7 and 11. So that critical factor, as we call it in hypnotherapy, think about your life from birth to 7. And in fact, your birth circumstances play a role. Past lives play a role. There is a lot that creates your programming. But what really matters is that you understand first and foremost that it's yours. And you be gentle, and you be kind, and you be loving in the same way that you love the animals, in the same way that you love nature, in the same way that you're a tree hugger. You have to give yourself that level of love. So when you're upset, turn it around and look at it inwardly and understand what's starting to bother you. Because that is your subconscious mind trying to say, hey, we're not in alignment with that divine being that we truly are. And we don't have access to that, by the way. That's what feels like in the flow. That's what problem-solving intelligence is. It drops in these solutions, right? When we talk about law of attraction and how everything is this vibrational match, you're not a match. In order for that to support you, you have to be open to it. And being open to it means we got to stop with the pointing. Does that make sense? Is that going in? So this holiday season, I want you to love yourself first. I want you to be kind and gentle with you. I want you to hug yourself often. I want you to be proud that you survived this year. I want you to step back when something's bothering you first. And I want you to think 2 things. Ooh, I don't want to cause inflammation, so I got to own this moment. And 2, what is it that my subconscious mind is trying to tell me? Every upset is a setup by me, for me. And go easy. This was a big, big year. I don't think we're ever going to have small years ever again. You matter. You are important. You are needed. Reflect on the year that you've had and everything that you've overcome. And while your brain and your programming wants to take you right to what's negative, why? Because that's its effort to protect you. The subconscious mind is just trying to protect you and say, ooh, danger, there's negativity there. We don't want to go there. We had that. We had that when we were 5. We don't want that again. It's all it's trying to say to you. So if you'd like to unravel that more personally for you, that's where sessions come into play, and I'd be honored to help you with that. But collectively, just consider you being able to hold a vision of gratitude for this past year, of pride for everything that you managed to navigate, of hope for what's to come, of knowing the influence that you have just in your own neighborhood and focusing on that being an element of love, and allowing space, always allowing space for that divine intelligence to drop solutions in for those that we love so much on the other side to visit and to love us and to drop in solutions and know that they're helping us and know that you've got all this influence. Will make the things that normally bother us smaller and smaller and smaller until they're no longer the dominant programming. We don't feel unsafe anymore. We feel needed. We feel necessary. We feel valuable. And we feel this deep desire to contribute. And that connection drops in those perfect ideas of how. That's really the attraction that's going on, right? That's called law of correspondence. I want to say one more thing about that. Law of correspondence has 3 elements. Projection, we talked about how you project out your consciousness, your programming out onto people, places, and things in front of you. And then how you attract that back. You attract what you are attracted to and what is in alignment with your programming. So when we start to make adjustments here, everything changes. Our perception changes. There's one other element, and that's called transfiguration. And that is when we can hold that, like I started with, that unshakable space of peace, of intention, of peace, and being in a peaceful state as we move through this year. Not only will you project that forward for what will come back to you in the year, you will also help release everything that you've been through. And it will also permeate out towards your neighbors and your land. I mean, so many times I will just go stand on my deck and I will hold that space and I will thank nature for helping me get through a really difficult year. And yet there was so much beauty and so much love. And now I'm in a space that I can celebrate all of that. We have to take time out to heal sometimes. And then we have to reflect on what we've learned and who we are, because we chose those times, those people. And then we open the space up for all of the solutions to come in. And that's how we begin to change collectively into unity consciousness, in my humble opinion. And so as we do that, I like to for the holidays. I don't look good in red, so I put pink on. But this is my dad, who passed when I was 29. This was one of his favorite tie clips that I often wear as a little piece of jewelry. And these are pearls that my mom brought back for me from Japan when she was still here in human form. And this is our gorgeous Barbara's purple crystal heart. This is her gorgeous heart that I carry with me all the time. And so take a moment this year, reflect, own it, know how incredibly special you are. Whatever you choose to do this holiday season, whether you're just taking time out to be by yourself, whether you've booked yourself a spa trip and you're disappearing, whether you're going to be around a whole lot of people and you're hosting or you're traveling, do it well. Do it consciously. Know that you leave a trail of energy everywhere you go. What do you want that to feel like? What is it that you need to give yourself? And then that you will share with the rest of the world. Thank you. Have a wonderful, safe, joyous, conscious, beautiful holiday season, and I'll see you next year in 2022. Bye for now.
Thank you, Meg. What do you mean there's not going to be any more easy years? I think you're absolutely right. That's magical. Thanks, guys. I tell you, it's so much fun to get this stuff together, and then find out we're getting the same message. We're all on the same channel, but we're channeling it slightly different. Fascinating stuff to do. I'm going to be back in just a moment with the final channel for today, to take you through and let the group walk us into 2022 a little bit. We've got a few things coming up that we'll be announcing here pretty soon too. We've got some exciting things we're going to be doing here going forward. But the empowerment stream is one of the things that we have started just fairly recently, a couple months ago. And it basically is going to take the place of a lot of the things that we were doing. The empowerment stream is also, every month we're doing a different event, but they all tie together. And that's important to keep in mind. We're always going to start the last one with, here's where we left off last time, and we're going to pick it up and go for it. This next event that's coming up is the 3 secrets. They are things that have been right out in plain sight. I don't think we're going to freak anybody out by telling you a secret you didn't know, but these are the 3 things that are going to be probably the most important going forward. And it starts in a couple days. If you'd like to come join us, come do. But after that, again, it's going to start a whole nother series to come up. The 3rd secret is all about another opening of another level that's going to start on with this work. So with that, I'm going to share a little bit about what we're going to be talking about, and then I'll be right back with the group. Aspavo. Greetings, dear ones. I am Observer. I join you in such a beautiful time on your planet. Things have started to move in new ways. You are behind all of it. You're in the perfect place at the right time. Not that you carry all the answers, because those have been distributed throughout many who are playing this beautiful game of hide and seek. Well, you're reaching it. You're uncovering the next level of the game. Yes, to do that, you had to go through some difficulties. You had to go through something that would promote resetting your energy. You're doing that now. Your whole world has changed very quickly because of this virus. Well, what if you were to look at this 7 years from now and look back and think what a wonderful thing that happened? What if you were able to see some of the most incredible things that took place as a result of the difficulties, as a result of this challenge that you're going through now? Most people only want things to return to normal, but there is no normal. There really never was. But what happens is people grow, they evolve. Humans evolve to certain levels, and then they reach this comfort zone. That comfort zone can kill you. Absolutely. You'll be very comfortable when you come home, and you deserve to be comfortable and happy on your planet. And yet, do not fear the challenges. Do not fear them, because you know that after a short time, after going through them, you will emerge a much better person, no matter what difficulties you're going through. But now, as you step into 2022, a new year, a new opportunity, we'd like you to bring your highest dreams forward for just a minute. Oh, yes, that little Popeye voice, we call it. Popeye was a character that used to mutter under his breath. And he would say things like, oh, isn't it a beautiful day? Oh, it's really crappy outside. He would say things under his breath that sometimes meant more than what he would say openly. Well, each and every one of you has that little Popeye voice in the back of your head. And you'll say, oh, it's a beautiful day. And the Popeye voice will pop up and say, oh, yes, but something's bad coming. This is a perfect time to tame that voice, to hear it and laugh. Don't try to block it out. Just hear it. Go, oh, that's my Popeye voice. Fascinating. Everyone has one. The idea is not to give it free rein, to hear it, to understand it, to know it's a reaction of your surroundings and what you have been taking in. Vibrations are coming in at incredible paces from so many different levels that it's really quite challenging for most humans at this time. But you're closer than you think. The reality is, your world is starting to shift and open in different ways. And yes, these are difficult times. These are times of transition. You're in the times of mastery still, where everything is coming up for you to find out what you want to master, what you want to take to the next level, and what you're ready to leave behind. Take a breath. And as you release it slowly, feel that beauty coming into your being. Feel the connection of the light as it comes through you and makes its way out of your eyes, in your voice. Every movement through your body carries that beautiful spirit. You came to leave a trail of light behind you. And although you may only feel the wind in your face and the resistance of the world around you, we tell you, look behind you. You'll see the trail of light that is clearly there. Most of you have left it by contract. Yes, sometimes you'll get assistance with that. And other times you'll have to move away from the wind that's taking all of your attention. But you're magic. And that magic is starting to show in more ways than you can possibly imagine. Bring it together in any way you can and celebrate that light, dear ones. The year ahead is still a year of change. And yes, there will not be any normal years. You're in motion. during the times of transition, the times of love. Welcome home, dear ones. It's with the greatest of honor. We ask you to treat each other with respect of the highest nature. You are looking in the eyes of God. Nurture one another and open those doors at every opportunity. And play well together as you enter a whole new world of 2022. Welcome home. I am Observer. And I love you dearly. And I also like to watch a Spavo.